Hello, everybody. Welcome into Week 3 of the Telegram Football Insiders Postgame Report. I'm Josh Wallfish, joined by Ethan Joyce. Ethan, I call it Week 3. It might as well have been Week 2.5. Only 3 games able to actually be completed thanks to this wonderful weather outside. We'll start with the game you were at. Rocky Mount High, 35-14. Got in around a lightning delay. Mm-hmm. What was your take on the Griffons now having seen them for a third consecutive week?
Yeah, well, everything looked pretty good for the Griffons. You know, defensively, you really couldn't ask for too much more because, at first they're dealing with a running back that was pretty shifty. Had a Division I wide receiver lining up outside, and he definitely got his yards in the game. But Rocky Mount made really good adjustments, and they were all over the ball anytime a catch was made. And had a couple of shots at interceptions that just kind of dropped, but it was a good-looking Griffon defense.
Perhaps the most important question for Rocky Mount High fans. How did number 44 look in his first game of the season?
He was looking solid. He was moving really well. The cast he's wearing looks like a giant cowbell. Didn't tweet that out during the game, but thought about sneaking a photo of it, but I didn't want to seem too creepy, but it did look like a cowbell. So no noise coming from it, though.
Well, the game I was at was Nash Central hosting North Johnston, and I think for the first time in the last 2 years under Chris Lee, I finally have seen Nash Central turn the corner. Mm-hmm. We talked a little bit about them, in the office about exercising their demons. But you look at that game, there were a couple opportunities where I think in years past Nash Central would have gone down themselves, would have kind of gone into this sour mood, and all of a sudden blown all the good work they did. First one was right off the bat, opening kickoff. Nash Central knew there was going to be an onside kick attempt. They planned for it. They practiced for it. They could not recover it. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, North Johnston starts the game inside Nash Central territory. Great field position, but good job by the Bulldogs defense going 4 and out on the Panthers offense, getting the ball back. Nash Central drove right down the field. All of a sudden, it's 8-0. Dominated first half, 24-0. Not even close to being over because North Johnston came out, started the second half, scored a touchdown, cut it to 24-8. And again, one of those situations where maybe in years past, Nash Central looks around and says, here comes the comeback, and all of a sudden it ends 32-24 in favor of North Johnston. But again, Nash Central kept its composure, kept its heads high, came out, got a couple of big stops, got a couple of key turnovers that set up big scores at the end to really run away from them. And all of a sudden they're building momentum. And earlier, you look at the beginning of the season, I don't know if next week's game against Southwest Edgecombe is winnable for them. All of a sudden, with Southwest Edgecomb's struggles, could Nash Central get on a 3-game winning streak and all of a sudden start to build momentum that way? So a great step forward for the Bulldogs.
Let me ask you, with Nash Central's rise in play and Northern Nash having a pretty solid start to the year, what do you think this is doing for conference play coming up in the next few weeks?
It's gonna be a fun October in the Twin Counties for sure, because I think we're finally seeing a Big East where there is no easy games. Because even last year, Northern gave a couple of teams a little bit of a hard time. Didn't necessarily win the games, but gave them a hard time. Nash Central really wasn't too competitive, with any of the other teams. But Nash Central, with the confidence they have, they can start giving teams a little bit of trouble. Northern's defense has been playing spectacular. They can start giving teams trouble. We know how good Southern is. We know how good Rocky Mount is. We know the Wilson schools are always going to be, near or at the top of that conference. So these are going to be 5 hard bruising weeks of Big East football. Speaking of the Firebirds, though, they were the other team that played, and they probably got the most impressive win of the week. A nice victory, 31-16, I believe, over Bonna, a team that made the state finals last year. Just I know you were in the office when Coach Foster's wife called. Just give us a brief rundown of what happened.
I mean, again, a lot of power out of the backfield, 4 rushing touchdowns for the Firebirds. Matt Hampton, nickname is Matt Too Nice Hampton. He was 1 for 1 for 18 yards. He's making the throws when he needs to. If I get my quarterback to throw one time and he gets me 18 yards, that's a first down. I'm going to take it.
Definitely, and we'll shift away from the games that were played to some of the games that weren't played. Northeast Carolina Prep, Rocky Mount Prep, they're going to play Tuesday at 5. RMA is going to play Tuesday at 6 in Wilson against Community Christian. Now, Northern Nash and Tarboro, that game got moved to Monday, September 12th at 7 o'clock. And I'm going to stop there because That gives Tarboro 3 games in 8 days. They play Franklinton on Friday the 9th. They play Northern Monday the 12th. And then they got to play Southern Friday the 16th. Is this something that you think is healthy for high school football, the fact that that is technically allowed by the association?
I mean, is it healthy for young kids? I don't know, but is this going to be a great test for Tarboro to really show whether they're worth all the attention they're getting as a state contender potentially down the road? This is how you prove it right here.
And the other thing is, thankfully for Tarboro, going 2-1 in that stretch is not the worst thing, because they can drop one of those losses for seeding purposes. So that will do it for week 3 of the Telegram Football Insiders. We'll be back next week for a look at week 4, and we'll hopefully be a dry week 4 here in the Twin Counties.